nothing but focus on our breathing, which is very important. At any point of time, if you have been through some stressful activity, 1 minute, only 1 minute for yourself. More reading which we have to do, but now this will not be a group activity, it will be an individual activity. There are two speeches which are, one speech you had done yesterday, I think you had done Martin Luther King, right?
Yes. Shylock from Merchant of
That also. That one you had done, and you had done, did you do the speech Martin Luther King?
Martin Luther King, yes.
Yes.
Friend.
We don't have to read it. Or I can just read it out. When 12 months ago a new program of total mobilization or maximum sacrifice was placed before Indians in East Asia. Today I shall give you an account of our achievements during the past year and shall place before you our demands for the coming year. But before I do so, I want you to realize once again what a golden opportunity we have for winning freedom. The British are engaged in a worldwide struggle, and in the course of this struggle they have suffered defeat after defeat on so many fronts. The enemy, having thus been considerably weakened, our fight for liberty has become very much easier than it was 5 years ago. Such a rare and God-given opportunity comes once in a century. That is why we have sworn to fully utilize this opportunity for liberating our motherland from the British yoke. Now, we will have the next person to continue.
I am so very hopeful and optimistic about the outcome of our struggle because I do not rely merely on the efforts of 3 million Indians in East Asia. There is a gigantic movement going on inside India, and millions of our countrymen are prepared for maximum suffering and sacrifice in order to achieve liberty. Unfortunately, ever since the great fight of 1857, our countrymen are disarmed, whereas the enemy is armed to the teeth. Without arms and without a modern army, it is impossible for disarmed people to win freedom in the modern age. Through the grace of Providence and through the help of generous Nippon, it has become possible for Indians in East Asia to get arms to build up a modern army. Moreover, Indians in East Asia are united to a man in the endeavor to win freedom and all religious and other differences that the British tried to engineer inside India, simply to do not exist in East Asia. Consequently, we have now an ideal combination of circumstances favoring the success of our struggle. All that is wanted is that Indians should themselves come forward to pay the price of liberty. According to the program of total mobilization, I demanded of you men, money and materials. Regarding men, I am glad to tell you that I have obtained sufficient recruits already. Recruits have come to us from every corner of East Asia, from China, Japan, Indochina, Philippines, Java, Borneo, Celebes, Sumatra, Malaya, Thailand, and Burma.
Mobilization of men, money and materials with greater vigor and energy. In particular, the problem of supplies and transport has to be solved satisfactorily. We require more men and women of all categories for administration and reconstruction in liberated areas. We must be prepared for a situation in which the enemy will ruthlessly apply the scorched earth policy before withdrawing from particular area and will so force the civilian population to evacuate as was attempted in Burma. The most important of all is the problem of sending reinforcements in men and in supplies to the fighting fronts. If we do not do so, we cannot hope to maintain our success at the fronts, nor can we hope to penetrate deeper into India.
Those of you who will continue to work on the home front should never forget the East Asia and particularly Burma. From our base for the war of liberation, if this base is not strong, our fighting forces can never be victorious. Remember that this is a total war and not merely a war between two armies. That is why for a full 1 year I have been laying so much stress on total mobilization in the East. There is another reason why I want you to look after the home front properly. During the coming months, I and my colleagues on the War Committee of the Cabinet decide to devote our whole attention to the fighting front and also to the task of working up the revolution inside India. Consequently, we want to be fully assured that the work at the base will go on smoothly and uninterruptedly even in our absence.
Gold of your loins.
Friends, 1 year ago, when I made certain demands of you, I told you that if you give me total mobilization, I would give you the second front. I have redeemed the pledge. The first phase of our campaign is over. Our victorious troops, fighting side by side with the Nepalese troops, have pushed back the enemy and are now fighting bravely on the scarce soil of our dear motherland. Gird up your lines for the task that now lies ahead. I had asked you for men, money and materials. I have got them in generous measure. Now I demand more of you. Men, money and materials cannot by themselves bring victory of freedom. We must have the motive power that will inspire us to brave deeds of heroic exploits.
A fatal mistake for you to wish to leave and see India free simply because victory is now within reach.
Higher pitch, sir.
No one here should have the desire to live to enjoy freedom. A long fight is still in front of us. We should have but one desire today, the desire to die so that India may live, the desire to face a martyr's death so that the path to freedom may be paved with martyr's blood. Friends, my comrades in the war of liberation, today I demand of you one thing. Above all, I demand of you blood. It is blood alone that can avenge the blood that the enemy has split. It is blood alone that can pay the price of freedom.
Give me blood, I promise you freedom.
Focus on cordiality. Incidentally, I'll tell you one thing about this speech. I have read the few things, history about it. In 1893, when this World Parliamentarians Conference was organized, first and foremost, he was not originally an invitee. He was not originally invited for it, but he came to know about it from some sources. He managed to raise the funds. Somehow he landed up the place, and then it was to get himself invited. His personality was so impressive that he managed an invitation. Now the second challenge was he was not the first speaker on the first day, or not even the first speaker on the first day after lunch, but on the second day after lunch they had kept his presentation. But see the power of his communication, that the moment he said the opening words, sisters and brothers of America, the entire audience, they stood up and applauded him for about 10 minutes or something. For a very long time he got an applause. It was something which was so rare and totally unknown to the entire crowd that here is a Swami who's come. He was the sole representative of Hindu religion. He was all by himself. Everyone else had come in delegations. They had come with prepared speeches. And these words were spoken on the spur of the moment, without any kind of prior preparation. Now, if you read these lines even once, you will realize and appreciate the value of the content which he was able to speak just by himself. The power of the language, the command over the language. So, Swamiji, Pranam Bhakti.
Sisters and brothers of America, it fills my heart with unspeakable joy to rise in response to the warm and cordial welcome which you have given us. I thank you in the name of the most ancient order of monks in the world. I thank you in the name of the mother of religions, and I thank you in the name of millions of Hindu people of all classes and sects. My thanks also to some of the speakers on this platform who, referring to the delegates from the Orient, have told you that these men from far from nations may well change the honor of bearing of different lands, the idea of toleration. I am proud to belong to a religion which is thought the world both tolerance and universal acceptance. We believe not only in the universal tolerance, but we accept all religions as true. I am proud to belong to a nation which has sheltered the persecuted and the refugees of all religions and all the remnant of the Israelites who came to the southern India and took refuge with us in the very year in which their holy temple was shattered to pieces by Roman tyranny. I am proud to belong to the religion which has sheltered and still for remnant of the grand Zoroastrian nation. I will quote to you written a few lines from the hymn which I remember to have repeated from my earliest boyhood, which is very dear, repeated by millions of human beings as the different stream having their sources in different paths which man takes through different tendencies. Various thought they appear scoop and straight all is to thee.
Okay.
The present convention, which is one of the most august assemblies ever held, is in itself a vindication, a declaration to the world of the wonderful doctrine preached in the Gita.
A little louder.
Whosoever comes to me, through whatsoever form, I reach him, all men are struggling through paths which in the end lead to me. Sectarianism, bigotry, and his horrible descendant, fanatism, have long possessed his beautiful earth. They have filled the earth with violence, dredged it often and often with human blood, destroyed civilization, and sent whole nations to despair. Had it not been for these horrible demons, human society would be far more advanced than it is now. For their time is come, and I fervently hope that the bell that tolled this morning is in honor of this convention may be the death knell of all fanaticism, of all persuasion with the sword or with the pen, and of all uncharitable feelings between persons wending their way to the same goal.
Friends, comrades and fellow South Africans, I greet you in the name of peace, democracy, freedom for all. I stand here before you not as a prophet but as a humble servant of you, the people. Your tireless and heroic sacrifices have made it possible for me to be here today. I therefore place the remaining years of my life in your hands. On this day of my release, I extend my sincere and warmest gratitude to the millions of compatriots and those in every corner of the globe who have campaigned tirelessly for my release. I send special greetings to the people of Cape Town, this city which has been my home for 3 decades. Your mass marches and other forms of struggle have served as a constant source of strength to all political prisoners. I salute the African National Congress.
Higher pitch. I salute the African National Congress.
I salute the African National Congress. It has fulfilled our expectation in its role as leader of great march to the freedom. I salute our President, Comrade Oliver Tambo, for leading the ANC even under the most difficult circumstances.
Kalyan.
I salute the rank and file members of the ANC. You have sacrificed life and limb in the pursuit of the noble cause of our struggle. I salute combatants of Umkhonto Wisizwe like Solomon Mahlangu and Ashley Cryle, who have paid the ultimate price for the freedom of all South Africans. I salute the South African Communist Party for its sterling contribution to the struggle for democracy. You have survived 40 years of unrelenting persecution. The memory of great communities like Moses Konante, Yusuf Dadu, Bram Fisher and Moses Mabida will be cherished for generations to come. I salute General Secretary Joe Slovo, one of our finest patriots. We are heartened by the fact that the alliance between ourselves and the party remains as strong as it always was. I salute the United Democratic Front, the National Education Crisis Committee, the South African Youth Congress, the Transversal and the Natter Indian Congress, and the COS2 and the many other formations of the mass domestic movement. I also salute the Black Sash and the National Union of South African Students. We note with pride that you have acted as a conscience of white South Africa. Even during the darkest days in the history of our struggle, you held the flag of liberty high. The large-scale mass mobilization of the past few years is one of the key factors which led to the opening of the final chapter of our struggle. I extended my greetings to the working class of our country. Your organized strength is the pride of our movement. You remain the most dependable force in the struggle to end exploitation and oppression.
I pay tribute to the many religious communities who carried the campaign for justice forward when the organizations for our people were silenced. I greet the traditional leaders of our country. Many of you continue to walk in the footsteps of great heroes like Hintasa and Shekuni. I pay tribute to the endless heroism of youth. You the young lions have energized our entire struggle. I pay tribute to the mothers and wives and sisters of our nation. You are the rock-hard foundation of our struggle. Apartheid has inflicted more pain on you than on anyone else. On this occasion, we thank the world community for their great contribution to the anti-apartheid struggle. Without your support, our struggle would not have reached its advanced stage. The sacrifice of the fourth line states will be remembered by South Africans forever. My salutations would be incomplete without expressing my deep appreciation for the strength given to me during my long and lonely years in prison by my beloved wife and family. I am convinced that your pain and suffering was far greater than my own. Before I go any further, I wish to make the point that I intend making only a few preliminary comments at this stage. I will make a more complete statement only after I have had the opportunity to consult with my comrades. Today, the majority of South Africans, black and white, recognize that apartheid has no future. It has to be ended by our own decisive mass action in order to build peace and security. The mass comparison of defense and other actions of our organization and people can only culminate in the establishment of democracy. The destruction caused by apartheid on our subcontinent is incalculable. The fabric of family life of millions of my people has been shattered. Millions are homeless and unemployed. Our economy lies in ruins and our people are embroiled in our political strife. Our resort to the armed struggle in 1960 with the formation of military wing of the ANC, Umakonto Sisi, was a purely defensive action against the violence of apartheid. The factors which necessitated the armed struggle still exist today. We have no option but to continue. We express the hope that a climate conducive to a negotiated settlement will be created soon so that there may no longer be the need for the armed struggle.
I am loyal and disciplined member of African National Congress. I am therefore in full agreement with all of its objectives, strategies and tactics. The need to unite the people of our country is an important task now, as it always has been. No individual leader is able to take on this enormous task on his own. It is our task as leaders to place our views before our organization and to allow the democratic structures to decide. On the question of democratic practice, I feel duty bound to make the point that the leader of the movement is a person who has been democratically elected at the national conference. This is a principle which must be upheld without any exception.